So, herzlich willkommen hier aus Unterföhring, der Heimat von meinem Bowlingshop.de, zu einer neuen Ausgabe unserer Bowling-Interview-Reihe mit PBA-Stars. Und heute, wie man unschwer kennen kann, haben wir den fünffachen PBA-Champion und Afrofisch zu Gast, Kyle Troup. Hi Kyle, how are you doing?
Hi, doing well. Thank you for having me.
Where are you located at the moment?
I live in Taylorsville, North Carolina, the country of North Carolina.
Okay.
I'm living at home right now with my brother and my father.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. So it's 1 p.m. now in your area, and
Yep.
so we are waiting a couple of minutes before we go into questions for more viewers. At the moment, we are
Okay.
25. So I want to say hello to Sebastian, Bianca, Jörg, Kosten, Markus, Alex, Simon. Marcel ist der, alter Schwede ist da, Bettina, Sandro. Hi Jungs, Mädels. Schön euch zu sehen. Wenn ihr Fragen habt, einfach in den Chat schreiben. Ich werde das Gespräch möglichst auf Englisch halten und ja, ich würde sagen, Olli says Troop. It's
Troup.
yeah, it's that comes in with Norm actually, right? And they just changed it to Troop.
They say Duke. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, they picked that up at the PBA League 2 years ago.
Okay.
They just started yelling Troop.
So
I like it.
weird times at the moment with the whole Corona thing. I know it's a pain in the ass for a lot of people because anybody is talking about it, and but it influences so many lives in the world. So how do you do with the Corona thing?
Yeah, it's definitely a crazy time right now for the world. Obviously, I haven't thrown a bowling ball since the World Series. They shut that down kind of in the middle of it. We were able to have the World Championship show, but I haven't really bowled since then. I've kind of enjoyed the time home though, spending a lot more time at home. Like I said, living at home right now with my father and my brother, I'm able to take care of my dad a little bit.
Yep.
Work around the house and try and just work out and stay in the best shape physically that I can right now. So whenever we are allowed back on the lanes, I'll be ready to go get it full force and be back to picking it out.
Okay. So there's actually the first question is pretty funny. So one day you cut your hair the next time.
I haven't cut my hair in quite a while. It was probably back at the beginning of the year. And obviously right now salons and everything are closed. So I've got a nice quarantine fro growing on, same thing. But it's looking nice. I haven't really done nothing to it except just let it dry and pick it out. So it'll be looking nice for TV if we get back on there soon.
Okay. You're famous because of your pants and shirts and everything and the whole design altogether. How many different designs do you have?
I'd say about 10. Actually, I'm sitting in my bedroom. This wasn't planned either, so I could just open up my closet door and kind of show you a couple of we got all the different colors in here. Hard to see, but I've probably got about 10 or 11 different designs. And that's a tough decision for me sometimes. Like, what outfit do I want to wear for qualifying and match play? And these are some serious decisions I got to think about before bowling.
And so you're for your whole life you're like a paradise bird, or is it just coming?
Well, off the lanes, outside of the bowling center, I don't really dress like a paradise bird. I like that. I've never heard that before.
Oh, it's a German thing. I just translated it word by word. So.
Oh, okay. I like it. I'm gonna have to start using that. But in bowling, I grew up watching my dad bowl, and he always had the wild pants, and so that was the Troup tradition. Was to carry on the trade of wearing wild pants. So when I was younger, I had like solid color pants, kind of like Barnes did back in the day, like light blue and green and red. And then I had like the button down flame shirts. And so I was like the mix of Chris Barnes, Danny Wiseman, and Guppy Troup.
Okay.
And so I've always kind of worn the wild clothes and just try and, up it now with the jerseys matching the pants and, being in 2020.
Yeah.
They're able to do that for me.
So we have a pretty good question here from Alter Schwede. That means old Swedish guy. Do you see yourself trapped in the shadows of your father? Did it help that he was a successful bowler, or did it make it harder to establish yourself as a great bowler of your own?
So to answer the first part of the question, I don't feel trapped now. And so growing up, I've been bowling on tour, the regional level since I was 16, so about 12 years. And I grew up bowling on the regional tour for several years, and then I went out on the national tour. I'd say about 6 or 7 years now. And whenever I first went out, it was definitely a little difficult. I felt the pressure of being Guppy Troup's son, and whenever I first was out on tour, I was missing a lot of cuts. And so I'm kind of just this guy dressed up, wearing funny clothes. And, I was still getting some attention and stuff just for being Guppy's son. And, then I grew my hair out because I didn't always have the afro. But so there was definitely some pressure felt, that I needed to establish my own name and my own legacy, so to say, in the sport. And I feel like I've done a good job at doing that. I have my own brand right now, and I just kind of let my personality shine. And I believe now it's not so much Guppy's son, but more that Guppy is Kyle Troup's father. It's kind of how we're going to start coining it. I think I'm working my way above him. I've still got to catch him in titles, but it definitely helped out though. Also growing up, having him as a father, having so much success, being able to learn those little nitpicky things from him.
Yeah, you're one of the few where the dad won PBA titles and the son. There's not a lot. I don't know who's actually.
I believe it's 4 or 5. I don't know all the names though. But
who is it or who it is? I don't know. And it's pretty fascinating. I like it a lot. When did you start bowling? What age? Was it from really early or?
Yeah, well, I don't really remember these days, but according to Guppy, I started bowling whenever I was like 3 years old. He said I was always whining, wanting to throw his ball and throw the heavy ball. So he started me with a heavier ball at a young age, and I had to throw it with 2 hands. And that's kind of how I got started bowling with 2 hands. And, growing up, always throwing the heavier balls, I really couldn't bowl one-handed. And to this day, I still can't bowl very good one-handed. I could honestly probably need a wrist brace or something to help me out.
So actually, your 2-handed game wasn't inspired by Jason or Osku. It was naturally coming.
Yeah. Honestly, I didn't even know about Jason Belmonte or Osku Palermo. The first time I had heard of or seen Osku bowl was when he made the U.S. Open show. And so I believe I was probably 13, somewhere around there, 11, 12, 13. And I just didn't know about these guys because I didn't do too much traveling bowling. I just grew up, being a kid bowling 2-handed, being the weird one in town. And but then once I seen these guys, I realized I had a lot of work to do, and I really wasn't as good as I thought I was, because there was guys winning titles and making PBA shows, and I'm over here thinking I'm the only 2-handed bowler. But that was a lesson quickly learned.
What does your dad says when you play 2-handed? Because he has the experience as a pro, and wasn't it weird for him?
Yeah, a little bit, especially since if you take the rev rate from one of my shots, it takes about 4 of his combined. So that was kind of the funny thing growing up, and a lot of people would give him some heck about it, like, "Hey, your kid's hooking the ball more than you've ever thought about. What's going on here?" But he never wanted me to change. He realized that I was pretty good at it. I could keep it on the lane, obviously keep it out of the gutters. And as I got older and I stuck with it, he never tried to talk me out of it. I did, however, change to one-handed whenever I was 11 or 12 years old for about less than 6 months. And I went right back to it. Okay. Worst decision of my life, and never again will I do that. It's 2 hands all the way.
There's an interesting question for Natalie, because she asked, is it difficult for you that you don't have a power step like the other 2-handed players? You don't have it, that you're more walking through like a one-hander compared to the power step when you see Osku?
Yeah, so I've kind of learned that, because the way I learned how to bowl, obviously it's nothing like Belmo or Osku, but I've never been one to try and mimic myself of someone. I've always just done my own craft. And I think from growing up watching my father bowl so much, being a really down and in straight player, threw it really hard a lot of times, ran to the line, you know, had really quick feet, I just kind of developed, because they say I almost have one-handed timing. I'm like the one-hander of two-handers, you know, with my timing and how I don't have any hop or power steps, like she says. And it's definitely been a little difficult whenever I'm trying to really open up the lane from, you know, way deep, way left, because it's a little harder for me to get my body position in the right. It's a little harder for me to get my body in the correct position at the foul line, because I don't have that big crossover step, which then clears my hips out and can point me in the direction of my target.
Yeah.
I don't have that, so it's a little bit harder for me. And I mean, I've learned how to adjust it, but I'm gonna pretty much stick to what I've got, and you know, just work on my own game and try and just get better. And I'm seeing more improvement, so just gotta keep working at it, keep working on getting better at slow curving it, and I'm gonna beat the power step.
It's actually pretty funny because we too have a history back in, I think it was 2009. It was your first World Series, when I remember right, and it was my first World Series also. We were on the same pair for all the tournaments, so I don't know if you really remember me, but anyway, I was thinking you're playing with one hand, just you thumb in and hold it with your other hand. I don't see that you go two-handed, actually, when I remember back.
I've heard that. People say, like, you don't even look like you bowl two-handed. And I'm like, I don't understand that, because, you know, I'm hanging on to it with two hands the whole time. So I feel like it's not hard to tell. But I guess at certain angles, and, you know, in my younger days, I definitely heard that a lot. They were like, what? I didn't even realize you were two-handed. So I guess that's just the style that I had growing up. And I still hear it from time to time. But, you know, now a lot of people know that I kind of bowl two-handed and stuff like that. But you know, it's what I learned growing up, and I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah. When I remember right, we were on the lanes for this tournament with Ryan Schaefer and Fury. There was a guy called Fury.
Fury, yeah, John Fury. Yeah. I remember just a little bit about that, because that was 10, 11 years ago, and I bowled a few World Series. But yeah, I do remember crossing with Fury.
Yeah.
And yourself.
And yeah, pretty funny. So then we have... yeah, there was one guy, Pete Weber and Dick Weather were father and son, PBA titles, that's right.
Yep.
Seno asked, do you think that you will have your afro for the rest of your life?
I hope. I do know that it's, you know, it's graying a little bit. I see gray hairs when I wake up in the morning. It's thinning out a little bit back here in the back, but I think I got a solid 10 to 15 years of afro left in me. Yeah. But I know it's not going to last forever. I mean, everybody goes bald. Luckily, my father still has a good head of hair at 70 years old, so maybe that's a good sign for me.
Yes, it is.
Because I also need to keep this fro so I can hide my forehead, because if that goes away, then I'm in trouble.
I remember when you've been here in Munich, and when your hair actually is wet, it looks normal.
Yeah, this is, you know, honestly, I've been doing a lot more of these shows for different you know, webcasts or whatnot, and so I've started to pick my hair out a little bit more, because before then I would always just leave it down, leave it tight curled, or, you know, just wash it and don't even really dry it, just kind of let it do its thing. Yeah. With the quarantine look, but you know, we got it feels good to have the afro back out and actually having to pick it out.
With the thing with the hairbrush you bring into the PBA, was it planned, or did you do it before, or was it just...
So that was the thing. So this pick, yes. Yeah, the pick. I made my first show in 2015 at the Wolf Open in Oklahoma, and I told my roommates, Connor Pickford, Craig Nideford, and Anthony Simonson, I told them, you know, if I make a show, well, and then I made the show, and I was like, if I send a messenger, I'm pulling the pick out. And it was my second match against Bill O'Neill. I sent the messenger against Bill, and I pulled the pick out, and that's when it was born. You know, that was the first time the pick was ever pulled out on TV. And then I didn't make another TV show till the doubles. And then we remember the moment where I double picked it and that went viral. And then from that point on, yeah, I was pretty much stuck with the afro, and the picks are always got to be on me.
What I see in you,
which is all right.
Yeah. What I see in you as a pro shop guy, you have something special, because you're not only a bowler, because the people remember you also because of other things. Do you think this helps you, or does it makes it harder?
Oh, I definitely think it helps me myself and building my brand.
Yes.
However, you know, I'm kind of blessed that I'm just being me. You know, I'm just letting my personality shine. I got to grow up watching one of the best entertainers in the sport, my father, Guppy Troup. And, you know, so I learned a lot from him. He was always giving back to the fans, hanging out with the fans, loving the pro-ams. And when he got on TV, he always said, you know, his first goal was to entertain, and then it was to bowl well. And, you know, we are a professional sport, but it's also sports entertainment. And I think, you know, more players need to realize that, and more players are realizing that, you know, with Fox and FS1 and all the TV shows that we're being on now. You know, just give the TV a little extra, pump up the crowd some extra bit, and I fuel off the crowd. So I love all of it. You know, I love that, you know, people kind of remember me for my personality and stuff. That makes me feel good. You know, and it also tells me that I'm doing something right, because, you know, I'm trying to give back to the fans, because without fans, we don't have bowling.
Yep.
That's something my father always said growing up. And so it makes me feel good that the fans appreciate, you know, I guess my charismatic ways, or my personality and my antics on the lanes, because, you know, it's just natural. It just comes out. The only time anything's ever really been planned was, you know, the pick in the first show, and then maybe some of the stuff in the playoffs, pulling the marker out, and those pre-anticipated things. But, you know, it's fun. I get to be me, be myself, live life, enjoy what I do for a living, and I get to meet a lot of awesome people. So it's, you know, I think it definitely helps me in growing my brand and help elevating the sport and sports entertainment.
Yeah, I think, in my opinion, what bowling hurts a lot between 2000 and 2012, in my opinion, we don't have a lot of stars or stars building. So now with we are lucky now. I told this in my other interviews also. We are lucky now that we have pretty close to the greatest bowler in the world ever, with Jason in our timeline now. We have a huge star. We are growing stars around them. For example, when you see Brett and Kyle doing their show, they're doing a lot for bowling. They're creating their own brand. You're
they're doing a very good job.
Yeah, you're doing like the Paradise Bird, what I said before. You're like you're getting famous because of that, and so the bowlers starting to getting more talking to the fans. The fans are the most important thing. If we don't have them, if we don't have stars, we don't have a sport.
Definitely, and you know, and then with growing more fans, you know, we get more reach, more outreach, more sponsors.
Correct.
More sponsors, more money, more tournaments.
More pros.
More publicity, more pros, more everything, more bowling.
Yep.
That's what we want.
That's what we all want, yeah.
Yep.
So, there's a question from Hagen. How's your Swedish brother doing?
He's doing well. I've actually talked to him a few times. I had him on a social media show that myself and Nate Garcia do on Sundays on Facebook about a month ago. But then I've talked to him a few more times since then. He's doing well in Sweden. You know, Sweden is one of the countries that didn't really go into lockdown. Yep. They went with the herd immunity, you know, where I guess people get sick, but then most of them get over it.
Yep.
But they're back to bowling now. I think they're actually doing something today. Pergamon is bowling a match to raise money for cancer. You know, they're doing well over there. He's healthy. Jolene and the rabbit, Mats, his rabbit is doing okay too. And you know, I miss my brother though. It kind of sucks. I was enjoying traveling the road with him. We had a lot of good times together the first 3 months of the year, but he's doing well over there. I'm a little jealous. He's getting to bowl pretty much whenever he wants.
Yep.
But you know, I'm glad to hear that he's doing well, and hopefully I get to see him soon.
Yeah. The most important thing is we get all staying healthy, and that's the most important thing. Actually, you had quite a momentum in the season 2020 with the 2 titles you won, one with Jesper and the Jonesboro Open. What do you think would happen if they don't shut down the PBA series? Would you get more titles?
Well, you know, at the situation where they shut it down, it was during the World Series. We had got to bowl the qualifying for all the animal patterns. I made it on cheetah. I guess just to pause before then, you know, I felt like I was in great position to win Player of the Year. I knew I would have to make the World Championship show and probably get a major under my belt. But having 2 titles, being one of the only few guys that have 2 titles, I'm in the top 7 in points.
Yep.
I've made a good amount of money. My sights were definitely set on the top of the mountain. And I made cheetah, and then I bowled myself out of the next 2 animal pattern cuts the last 2 games. Like I bowled 140, 160 to miss by 20, and then I bowled 150 the last game to miss by 30. Mm-hmm. So I had a couple bad showings in the animal patterns and made the match play at the World Championships. So really, I feel like there would only be the Masters left, and then cheetah for me, and then the playoffs. Obviously, I feel like I would make a very deep run in the playoffs. But sorry, I just had a phone call come in.
No problem.
I feel like I would have made a deep run in the playoffs and stuff like that, because I was bowling at the best I've ever been bowling, top of my game. And the COVID and everything has happened, but I'm happy that I've gotten 2 wins this year. It's been a good win or a good year for myself. And we're just gonna try and work as hard as we can whenever we're allowed to get back into the bowling centers and try and get back into prime mode, because who knows what we're going to get to bowl the rest of the year, but I want to make sure to be ready for it and not caught off guard by it.
Yeah. Okay. Before I get to the next question, I just want to remind the people, if you like the video, just leave a like here, and if you don't like, don't do it. And subscribe to the channel if you want more interviews like this with PBA star Kyle Troup. So, actually, when I remember right, and Chris Barnes told us in the other interview, so cheetah is still open. They don't make the TV finals, right?
Yeah, for cheetah, chameleon, and scorpion.
What position are you in cheetah?
I don't remember, but it doesn't really matter because it's a bracket final, so it's head to head.
Okay.
So you just have to win your match, and then whenever it comes, so that was the thing with the animal patterns, whether you were first or 16th, in the end, it doesn't really matter, because you just got to win your match against the one person you're paired up against. But honestly, I don't remember. I think I was like 11th or 12th, I think. Okay. So, I don't even remember who I bowl in the match play, but, we don't really know when that's going to happen. We hope if they get this Masters rescheduled that they'll try and... I think...
Something...
My headphones just...
Yeah.
Can you still hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. Let me plug my headphones in for just a second to charge them.
Yeah, no problems.
But where was I? I just lost complete train of thought. Sorry about that.
No problem. Me too. But because I don't remember, I was shocked. Oh no sound.
Well, hey, this works out good then. We're a good team.
Yeah.
Gosh, what were we talking about? Oh, cheetah.
Cheetah.
Yeah. I don't even remember who I bowl in the match play, but I remember where I was going now.
Okay.
I hope that when they reschedule the Masters, we can then have the animal patterns, right behind it.
Okay.
That way, people are already there, because it's going to be really hard to ask the international players to come over for one event, if they only made one of the animal pattern cuts.
And the problem is maybe they can't travel.
And that's the other thing. Like, I don't think Belmo can even get out of Australia for the rest of the year.
No, I don't think so either. I think so. Same thing.
There's a lot of things up in the air right now, and we really don't know the answers to them. Yeah, we just gotta wait and see.
Actually, it's pretty fascinating. The German soccer league is the first professional sports league in the world that opens up again. I think next week.
Okay.
It's a huge thing here in Germany, because they say, why can't soccer, and we need the help more for the people and not for soccer. So, and actually I saw UFC starting this weekend, tomorrow I think, or today.
Yeah, UFC has a pay-per-view. No fans though.
Yeah, no fans, right? And in Florida, because sports entertainment is like a important thing for the people. The governor decided something like this. That's the reason why WWE is still going on live. They could. Yeah,
they've been doing that. Yeah, my father watches a lot of that too, so I see WWE on TV a few times a week.
Yeah, I love it too. So, actually, but I was surprised with the UFC starting over again. What do you think about this? And this cannot be possible with bowling because we have so many guys traveling.
Yeah, you know, I guess with UFC, if there's safety being taken to get these players there to fight, and they're willing to do it, you know, I would imagine they know how healthy they are, and nobody's going to be having COVID-19 and go fight in a cage against somebody else. But you know, when it comes to bowling, it really seems a lot more difficult because, I mean, one, we have on the broad stage of it, in the PBA side of it, we have players from so many different countries. Who knows the travel restrictions and all that. But then even when you look at it from like a league standpoint in the States, trying to run leagues right now, you know, with a limitation on the amount of people in the bowling center at one time, and then the limitations on how many people per lane, and you can't be within 6 feet, and you know, I don't really see how leagues are going to work out. So there's going to have to be some changes made. But USBC already made a few announcements, you know, being able to just bowl on one lane, you know, trying to come up with resolutions. And I think the sport of bowling is just going to have to come together to figure out the right solutions to the problem.
Yeah, the USBC make public yesterday or 2 days ago that only one lane, right?
Yes, and I don't believe that was a requirement, but you are allowed to do that if you so wish. Now don't quote me on that.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
Oh, now I think they are working now. Or do you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh yeah,
I'm trying to.
I had just a pop in my ear, but it looks like it works. So we have.
Now I'm back to my headphones.
Everything good.
So we are good.
Seno asked a question. What do you think when you miss a cut? When on the way to the stop, do you think what would you have done better? So what actually?
Yeah.
How in sports normally you learn more from disappointments than from success, right?
Definitely, I totally agree with that.
How do you handle failure? Or
you know, so there's been a lot of it. You know, I'm still young. I'm only 28 years old, and I've learned how to handle that more and more as I get older. And the one thing that the way I try to handle bowling bad, you know, whenever I miss a cut, now it kind of depends how I miss the cut. Like if we go back to the World Series, I bowled 140, 160. I literally was in like 6th and missed the top 16. I was a little frustrated then. You know, it took me, you know, honestly, I beelined out of the bowling center, went downstairs in the casino, sat down at the bar, had a beer, and was a little frustrated. And, but then, you know, my roommates came down and I was like, you know, let's just go back to the house. And you don't, it's not the end of the world because there's always going to be more tournaments. And whenever you do fail, the one thing I try and always do, and the faster that I can do it, as in like the sooner I can do it after missing the cut, the better off I'm going to be. And that's to reflect on the block or the match play or whatever it was that I missed the cut on.
Mm-hmm.
Reflect on it and see what mistakes I made. Did I get frustrated throughout the block? Did I fry out and cost myself 3 frames? Did I, you know, get pissed and miss a spare and miss the cut? You know, and reflect back on it and figure out where I could have been better and, you know, store that in my memory bank so that moving forward, I don't make these same mistakes again and I make the cut.
Okay. Actually, this brings me to another thing. How do you prepare for a season? How often do you go practice? How do you prepare for single tournaments? Do you have highlights or not? Or just the same thing all over the year? And this brings us to the next one. Do you have anything like a pre-shot routine or pre-tournament routine or something like this?
Okay. So I guess we could start, you know, with how did I prepare for the 2020 PBA Tour season? Because, you know, when I'm on tour, we're bowling tournament. You know, there's really like one day in between. So there's not a whole lot of practice going on while I'm on tour because the 1 or 2 days off I get a week, I really don't want to spend it bowling, and I'm bowling 70, 80 games a week. So when I'm on tour, there's really not much practice going on. However, some of the practice sessions, if I feel off, I'll grab one of the reps and be like, hey, can you tell me if something's off? So I will use that for you know, some little physical kinks. But preparing for the tour and just how much I practice in general, I'm not a big practicer, you know, and that's just because even when I'm home, I compete in like weekend events, you know, little scratch tournaments or regionals or other tournaments. I'm always competing, and I'm kind of at the level now where I feel like I just need to keep the reps, you know, just keep putting the reps in. My game's in pretty good shape right now, but I would say I practice about twice a week. But I try to prepare physically a lot more. You know, I try to work out a lot of core, a lot of stretching. You know, really try and take care of my body because it's a grueling 3 months on the road.
Yep.
You know, 3 months straight of bowling. You have to be able to really, you have to be prepared for the physical beat down that your body's going to take. And lastly, with preparation, you know, the mental side of it is very important. And that's something that I've really stepped up this year, you know, watching a lot of videos, you know, whether it be motivational speeches or just some type of motivational video, you know, to help me find my happy place. Or, you know, there's so many different instances that I've used, but, you know, really trying to just be mentally strong and be prepared to keep my emotions in check and really stay focused on the prize, which is obviously winning the tournament. And you can't do that in one game. And it takes a lot of patience, and that's kind of how I prepare. You also asked about like a pre-tournament routine. You know, really that's kind of the same thing. I just try to mentally prepare, you know, mentally get ready. I'll accept whatever the prior tournament finish was, you know, take my positives from it, but then set my mind towards the next week and try to correct the mental mistakes that I made. If there was physical game mistakes, you know, try and work on those and just try and get better week after week after week. Because whenever those good weeks come up and you get matched up, and kind of how Jonesboro happened, 30 minutes into the practice session, I told the reps I was going to make the show. And then I ended up being the #1 seed. You know, it was kind of crazy how all that worked. But, you know, whenever you are mentally prepared, you know, you can kind of feel when you have a great look and, you know, you're going to be ready for a good week.
Yeah, normally when you have like a 300 game, you know in advance. Normally.
You can feel like, yeah, I got a good pop at it this game.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, I got 4 or 5. I've thrown a couple shots on each lane. I'm lined up. I'm mentally strong. And then as long as you don't really start thinking about, oh, I'm going to shoot 300, just taking it one frame at a time. And then when you get up into the 10th, yeah, then you can tell yourself, I'm going to go throw 3. I'm going to go throw 3 really good ones here and shoot 300. Yep. But until you get to the 10th, you want to kind of just take it one frame at a time.
Yeah. Do you still feel excited for a tournament?
Every time. You know, I love to bowl. You know, it's what drives me right now. Yeah, I want to be the best. I want to win more titles than my father. He has 8. I'm at 5. Yeah. But you know, I want to win more than 8 titles. You know, I want to be in the Hall of Fame. I want to help. I want to help grow the sport in whatever ways that I can. And you know, so to help grow the sport, I need to be excited to be there. And I am. You know, I just love bowling. Love going back to places I've been before, and love going to new bowling centers, new countries. You know, it's all a very exciting time for me right now, and that's why I'm really bored and getting tired of being cooped up at home. But you know, that's what we got to do right now, and
it is what it is. Yeah,
we'll live with it. Yep.
So then we have 2 questions, Seno and Ines. I put both together because they have to do with each other, I think. When did you realize that you are good enough to compete full-time on tour? And what would you do if you don't get pro?
Yeah, so I would have to say I won my first title back in 2015 when I won the Wolf Open. I was still a manager at Wendy's. I was managing a Wendy's. That was my first job at 16. You know, became a manager at 18, worked there and started bowling on tour. And it was about 2016, the fall of 2016 into the spring of 2017. You know, I realized I think I can make it. You know, I'm starting to make a few more cuts. You know, my game is starting to change a little bit. I'm starting to learn how to throw it slower. But the real thing was I was always held back by work a little bit because it was kind of my safety net. And, the time that I was spending the 4 days a week working 8, 9 hours a day, I could put into my game. And that's whenever I took the chance. I quit my job. I went bowling full time. I was sponsored by Storm. And, the rest is history now.
Yeah.
But that first year after I quit, it was the best decision I'd ever made in my life. And a lot of people then told me moving forward, like, hey, I'm really proud of you. It was a decision that you needed to make probably, a year or two ago, but it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
And, I'm happy where I'm at right now and just looking forward to the future.
Okay. So actually, one of your biggest success was in Sweden at the Lucky Larsen. And this brings me to Europe. What do you think about when you think on European bowling? What comes into your mind? And especially, we are in Germany. So what do you think when you think about German bowling?
Yeah, so I've gotten to experience a little more of European bowling. I was able to bowl a few of the EBT stops this year, and there's still fierce competition. I might not have known a lot of the players. Whenever I went over to Madrid, and whenever I came to Munich, I believe it was 2 years ago,
Yep.
2 or 3 years ago, and but there's still just as much competition in Europe as there is in the States. We might not know every player, but they're not afraid to throw strikes in Europe. The bowling centers are lovely. And then whenever you talk about German bowling and Dream Bowl, that place is beautiful. A lot of the bowling centers in Europe and Germany and they're just very, very nice. The cultures are very accepting of bowling. So that's very nice. Anytime I get to go to Europe and bowl, everyone's so excited to see bowling and see PBA players, and it's a country that loves the sport. They have a lot of fierce competitors, and they know how to win.
Yep, that's true. Zeno asked, what is your favorite German dish?
Oh, I mean, I'm just, I probably didn't dabble in it too much whenever I was there, but the schnitzel, you can't go wrong with that. That's the easy way out.
Yeah, that's true. Do you do another sport next to bowling?
I try. I love to golf. I'm not very good at it though.
What's your handicap?
Probably since March. Luckily, North Carolina was one of the states that did not lock down golf courses, so I've been able to play golf probably about twice a week. Since the end of March, I have hurt my back a little bit right now, so I'm laid up. I've laid the golf clubs up for a few weeks, but I love getting out there. A lot of the bowlers golf, so it's a fun time. And if I'm on the road, going out with some of the bowlers and playing, and back home, getting out with some of my friends, enjoying the time outside. Maybe have a couple cold ones if it's the weekend, and it's just a fun sport. I'm very competitive, and it's something I'm not very good at, so I'm driven to learn it and get better.
What's your handicap?
Oh, I mean, the best round I've ever shot is 99, so
okay.
Plus a lot. I'm going
not,
to get a few strokes.
I'm not pretty much deep into golf. I'm just asking what's your handicap. You can tell me any number.
Probably like plus 30. I mean, that's what I would need, I think. I need a lot of strokes. So
Sealands ask, any plans for another visit to Kinna, Sweden?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Any plans for another visit to Kinna in Sweden? I think that's where the Lucky Larsen is, I think. I don't know.
Oh, well, honestly, for me, I don't think I'm going to be doing much of any international traveling this year. I've kind of told myself that I'm okay with not traveling internationally this year, just with everything going on. However, hopefully that might change. Maybe things get, fixed. The coronavirus gets taken care of. Everyone just gets a lot more healthy. Because I know these tournaments are going to be there in the future, so I really don't want to risk it. But who knows? Things might change. Things might change my mind 3 months down the road from now, and if the country's in a much better spot in the world with everything going on.
Since the Oktoberfest in Munich is cancelled this year, there's a question from Natalie. She asked, "Have you ever been to the Oktoberfest in Munich?"
No, I haven't. We have Oktoberfest in Hickory, North Carolina, but I bet it's nothing like Munich, Germany Oktoberfest.
No.
No, I've actually only been to Munich once, and that was for the Euro
Yeah.
Challenge. I really enjoyed it. You know, the beer is very good in Germany as well, nice and cold, very big.
Yeah.
You know, we us bowlers like our big cold beers too. But yeah, I really want to come back to Munich. I kind of hate that it's kind of fallen during PBA schedule
Yeah.
the last year or two. But I really look forward to coming back to Munich and being able to compete and see the country a little bit more this time.
Yeah. So Alter Schwede ask beer or wine?
Beer all the time, and then probably IPA. Starting to like the IPAs a little bit more.
So Thomas asked, what kind of bowling balls do you use the most? So he means with this symmetric, asymmetric, solid, pearls. And what are your favorite balls at the moment?
So I would say, I do throw a lot of symmetric balls, but well, let me take that back. Anytime we bowl on longer oil, I'm going to be someone that throws asymmetric balls longer than someone that throws the symmetric balls. So anytime we have, and then when we get into the medium and shorter patterns, if I'm throwing something other than urethane, it's probably going to be symmetrics. And the reason behind that is, with the asymmetric balls, it really allows me to control the lane front to back very well with my higher rev rate and my higher speed. I normally need the bigger motors or the stronger covers to really grip the lane and really help me blend out the pattern. With that being said, I use probably a lot of solids and a lot of hybrids, cover stock. Just because for me with my speed control just still quite isn't the best. I'm not throwing high road pearls or green IQs. You're not seeing me throw those balls or astrophysics. I'm not really throwing those too much just because they're very clean. I love, phase 2 obviously has been my favorite ball for many years. I throw a lot of idle pearl, which those are symmetric, but the idle pearl has a very, very strong cover on it.
Yep.
But then, Omega Crux was a big hit for me. Halo, UFO, kind of in that range. But if I had to pinpoint it to a couple, it would be phase 2 and probably the Omega Crux. So if I am throwing a pearl, it's got to have a really strong cover on it.
And also the lineup with symmetric solids in the Storm line is pretty good with the phase IQ, promotion, Axiom.
Yeah. They have so many benchmark balls. It's been, honestly, I forgot about the Axiom. I was throwing that a little bit at the World Series as well, and then we got cut off of bowling. That's another ball that looks very exciting. It can handle a little more oil than your phase 2 or your idle, and probably a little bit more back end. Is what I've kind of seen out of my first drill. But like I said, I didn't get to throw it too much, so I'm still waiting to see that ball in action more.
Yeah, and when you put the idle into this line, also it's you're pretty much lined up with like this 4 or 5 balls.
And then if one of them doesn't, like if the phase 2 doesn't work, normally the idle will, and then vice versa. When the idle works, the phase 2 doesn't.
Yeah. What are your favorite balls then? So you said Omega Crux and phase 2, right?
Yeah, Omega Crux, phase 2, and then I love my pitch black. I've had a lot of success this year. They keep, they don't ever disappoint.
Did you try the pitch purple?
Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of it. For me, it seemed to shine up a little fast for me, so it would kind of change the way it would roll. And for me, I just like to see my urethane ball hook as early as it can. And with the pitch purple being built to go a little longer and snap a little more on the back end, it's really just not what my eyes like to see when it comes to the urethane shape.
Okay.
But I would have to say Omega Crux, phase 2, and then Idle Pearl is probably my favorite symmetric pearl.
Yep. So this brings us to Tobias. He asked, do you have like a warm-up routine? So really to bring your body into heat?
Yeah. Well, that's after the lanes when my body goes into heat, but yeah, I have a little a little warm up routine before like the practice, the 10 minutes of practice. I'll do a little bit of ballistic stretching. You know, I'll do probably 10 squats, and then I'll do leg swings, 7 or 8 leg swings of each leg, just swing it forward and backwards. And then, you know, I'll stretch my glutes a little bit, you know, just do a few more little stretches like that, some arm stretches. But I believe in, you know, ballistic stretching is good for you because I've been told you really don't want to do a full like yoga session before you bowl, like, you know, really doing the full deep stretching. You know, you just want to get some ballistic stretching to get your heart rate up a little bit, loosen those muscles up, activate them, and get them warm or in heat, ready to bowl.
Okay. Who's the most annoying guy on tour?
Oh man, put me on the spot here. You know, sometimes Belmo gets on my nerves, and then sometimes Belmo is like, you know, the best for our sport and stuff. But that's just kind of, I don't know. That might just be like my inner grudge of just he wins all the time, and I want to win more. But you know, he's not really annoying though. But man, if I had to think. I like Sean Rash. He's a good buddy of mine, so that's not one. You know, I would think some people might say him, but I don't know. For me, yeah, I mean, Belmo is probably somebody that gets on my nerves more than others, but I don't really think he's like a super annoying person.
Okay. Then we have any plans on starting a Twitch channel and stream the PBA bowling game during the lockdown?
Probably not. You know, I have done a little bit of gaming. I do like Call of Duty. I've played that a little bit. I got hooked on Far Cry, but yeah, I haven't been playing too much of the PBA bowling game. I do enjoy watching some of the other PBA bowlers stream their sessions. Darren Tang, Andrew Anderson, you know, a couple of those guys. You know, they have a Twitch stream, and it's exciting to watch, but it's just really not my mainstream.
Okay.
I stay in a different lane, I guess, when it comes to that. But I do game. I do enjoy getting on the sticks sometimes.
So, do you like your nickname Afrofish, or are you often compared to your father Guppy?
No, I mean Afrofish is me. You know, that's what I've grown up to be in the last several years. You know, starting from the little guppy fish to now blossoming into this lovely Afrofish. We have come up with. But no, that's my name. People like it. You know, obviously the fro, it fits well, and yeah, I did used to get called Guppy Jr. whenever I was younger, or Tadpole.
Okay.
No, that's not a fish. You know, that's a frog. But they still called me Tadpole. So.
So then, two-hand bowler bowling asks, what music do you hear before you go on the lane?
What music? All right, let's see. I've got my phone sitting right beside me. A few of the playlists I have, you know, and it kind of depends. Like right now, I'm hooked on Roddy Ricch. You know, but like Dance Monkey with Tones and I, that was the jam in Indianapolis. That was actually mine and Jesper's strike song. It was the song that we jammed to in the car. Like had our own little dance session on the way back to the house. But I do enjoy a lot of Drake. You know, Drake's pretty popular on my playlist. And then, you know, I really bounce around though. I'm not one sort of genre. Eminem gets me in the zone sometimes, but then it'll be some other times, like back whenever I won in Sweden, I went to a random concert and it ended up being a gospel group, a Christian rock group. And I was like, oh my God, what did I just go to? And it was actually an awesome group. It was called Need to Breathe. And that was the band I was listening to whenever I won in Sweden. I actually went walking the day of the finals, walking down somewhere to eat with my headphones in, just listening to them. So it really changes. Just kind of depends on the mood that I'm in and you know, whatever tune comes on.
You ever been to a silent concert?
A silent concert?
Yeah. Where you have like, when you have like 20, 30,000 people, the group is making the music on the stage, and all of the people having headphones on, so it's silent, and the music plays into the headphones.
No,
you should try this. This is amazing.
I've never heard of that.
Because I don't know if it's a German thing or not, but with the loud and the noise and everything, it's a huge problem with the people living around this area. So they tried silent concerts, and they
makes sense.
And they're amazing.
Silent concert. I'm gonna have to look into that.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Actually, I'm in with Eminem, and also Godzilla is amazing.
There we go.
Yeah, and actually, when I heard a song last time, and that was I don't remember. Blinding Lights. Do you know? Weekend, Blinding Lights.
Yeah, The Weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Weekend's pretty straight.
Yeah. I heard that song, and then I was okay. This song, it must be a cover, and it isn't. But when you hear it the first time, you know the text immediately.
Yeah, the tune. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy. Then next question: do you miss Tim Mack?
I miss Timmy. Yes, I love Tim Mack. That's my boy.
He's a great guy.
I'll get to see him. I'll get to see him next Sunday, at least virtually, because we have the PBA League draft for the Portland Lumberjacks. Looking forward to that, to see who we draft for our title defense of the Elias Cup. But Timmy's a great guy. I do miss him. I talk to him every couple of weeks here during quarantine, just to check in with him.
Actually, he brings us together, right?
Yes, he was the guy that got us hooked up. So
yeah.
Thank you, Timmy, for that as well.
Yes. Do you live in a house or a flat or apartment?
House right now.
I don't know. Don't give the Swedes any ideas with the silent concert. We love a loud concert. If you're listening to a lot of different genres and also go to concerts, have you ever joined a mosh pit? Mosh pit? Yeah, mosh pit.
No, I don't get that wild at concerts. I try to stay to my own beat. Enjoy the music, enjoy the vibes, sip on my beer, kind of stay pretty chill.
Yeah,
I leave that for the crazies. I can't handle that. Too much for me.
I come back to the PBA League. Who's set in the Lumberjacks team?
Wes Malott, Chris Prather, and myself. And we had to let go of Ryan Simonelli and Mitch Hoope, and letting go of Simonelli, that was a tough decision because he's bowled very well for many years on the Portland team, and between him and Prather, it was such a tough decision. But who knows? Maybe we'll be able to work something out and get him back on the team. But hopefully we get two more strong guys, and with Timmy and Charlie, I think we're going to give it a run.
Who would be your favorite, or who would be your pick?
Oh, if I had any pick, now obviously it's not going to get down to us because of the new teams and everything. But AJ Johnson's a buddy of mine. He's pretty intense. I like him. I think he would fit in the Lumberjacks pretty well. And no, I think Sean needs to be on one of the new teams. Let him be on the Vegas High Rollers. He likes to gamble a little bit. We can go and put him on the Vegas team. But I really do want Simonelli back. He just meshes so well with the team. Such a great team player, and gets super pumped. Everybody loves him there up in Portland. But that's the crazy thing with the league. There's so many good players. Chris Sloan, I would love to have him on the team.
Yep.
He's another good buddy of mine, and he really gets pumped up, and that's what we want for the Portland team, to really give back to the crowd and get them behind us and rock the show.
When I hear Simonelli, that brings in my mind big bowling. Do you hear something about that?
Yeah, I haven't really heard much. I would think that this is probably not great for them with the pandemic and everything. Coming out with the new ball company at the World Series, and then bowling gets shut down. So I haven't heard anything more from them. I wish them the best, because it's always exciting when a new ball company comes out. You want to see what they got, and hopefully they make it through the pandemic, just like everyone else. Hopefully we all get back strong and back to making bowling balls.
Okay. What's your favorite opponent, or who's the opponent you play favorite ball against?
Well, if a favorite opponent of mine to bowl against, because I know I'm going to win most of the time, Chris Barnes. I've had a couple of good matches against Barney, but I really enjoy bowling Belmo because I want to beat him. You know, he's the best in the world. You know, whether it's in match play or on TV. You know, we've bowled each other now 3 times, 2 on television and then once in Sweden. And then, you know, but anytime I bowl him, you know, it's somebody I really enjoy bowling against because I know I'm going to get the best out of him because he is the best. And, you know, it makes me feel good whenever I get to snap him off, steal his 30 bonus pins, or, you know, beat him on TV, which hasn't happened yet.
Okay. A lot of people saying that Simonson is on the same path than Belmo. Would you agree, or?
I'm sorry?
Anthony Simonson is on the pretty much the same path than Belmo was like a couple of years ago, because he can he can do so many things. He's so versatile. And
I think.
What do you think? Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can be on the same path as Belmo. You know, he's very young still.
Yeah.
And he's already won a couple majors. You know, I don't even know how many titles he has. 7, 8, I think it is right now. But you know, he can do anything with a bowling ball. He's won throwing a backup ball. Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
Like, you know, he's done it all.
In TV.
You know, I think the only thing that holds him back. Oh yeah, and he bowled on TV backup.
Yeah.
And you know, the only thing that holds him back is his mental game. And that's going to be the telltale of it all, because even without the sharpest mental game, he's still going to get it done because he has some of the best talent in the entire world. You know, he's super talented, and his will to win just fights over, you know, maybe the frustrations and the mental game mistakes that he might make at times. But, you know, he's a very elite player, a close friend of mine. And it's really been I've enjoyed watching him grow up the last several years because, like I said, back whenever I won my first title in 2015, he was one of the guys that roomed with us every time. And he was a little kid, 18 years old, running around then. So it's cool to see him now, you know, whooping up on me on the short whenever I was the daddy 5 years ago with the urethane ball. And now he's learned how to beat me with that too. So it's pretty cool to watch.
When we talk about backup game, how's your backup game?
Not that good. Pardon me?
Yeah, no problems.
I've done it. I did it in one tournament. That was the Malaysian Open last year. And that was just because I was so far down in the final round, and it paid the same for like 10 spots. And I was bowling with Mawaz, the guy that won the tournament. And he needed a big game the last game to lead. And so I just bowled backup just to not even affect the right side of the lane because he was throwing urethane. And but it's not very good. I'm definitely not pulling it out in any PBA competition, that's for sure.
Yeah. What did you think when you see Jacob Butroff first time?
Whew, Butroff. Man, what a crazy style. Like, how does he do it? How does he not break his arm? Like, yeah, it's crazy, but I love Butroff. He's a good buddy of mine. We've had a lot of good times together on tour, and, you know, he's a very genuine person. You know, would give the shirt off his back to you, and his crazy ass gets it done.
Yeah.
You know, he'll waddle, run, crank, smash. We call it.
What how you call it?
Waddle, run, crank, smash. When the ball smashes the pins, it's the waddle, run, crank, smash is the butcher.
And do you have a coach still? Or do you have talking persons like a tour rep, or do you have a fixed coach where you go to?
Yeah, so I do have a coach back home. I don't see him too often, but his name's Ron Clifton. He was the guy that probably actually taught me how to bowl 3 or 4 years ago. That was probably the one guy that helped me the most after I won my first title, you know, to really develop me into the bowler that I am now. And but on the road, you know, Tim Mack, Jim Callahan, Sean Ryan, you know, all those guys really help out. But Timmy's probably my rock. You know, Tim Mack's my guy.
Okay.
Anytime I need anything, you know, he's somebody that I go to first.
Now we go to women bowling. Who do you think is the best woman bowler?
Liz Johnson. I mean, she's the GOAT. You know, I don't think there's any arguing that, but the only person that can maybe argue that is Shannon O'Keefe.
Yeah.
You know, she's been red hot the last several years, and you know, it's nothing crazy. You know, she doesn't have like the most power, the most rev rate, or anything like that. She just repeats like insanely amount. And you know, I would have to say Liz Johnson, and then Shannon O'Keefe is right behind her right now. You know, she's just proving it. You know, they can't beat her right now on the women's tour.
Okay. So now we are 1 hour live now. I ask 10 questions to anybody who's a guest. So let's see what you said. It's just 10 small questions. What's your favorite food?
Oh, fried chicken.
Your favorite beverage?
Rum and Coke.
Your biggest win?
Oh, Sweden, when I beat Belmo, being defending champion.
Your biggest fail?
That was a tough one to take.
Okay. If you had $1 billion, what would you do?
Help out the PBA.
Okay. Your
Blow
idol.
it up. Have a $1 million tournament. $1 million first place.
Okay.
There we go.
Your idol in the youth.
Tommy Jones.
Your idol now.
Norm Duke.
Okay. I come back to Tommy Jones with his fascinating weekend with the Hall of Fame tournament. That was crazy.
My gosh, it was unbelievable. And we talked about it. We were like, look, Tommy made match play as a 16 seed. He's going to make the show now. Oh, look, Tommy made the show. He's going to win now. Oh, look, he's going to bowl 300. Oh, my God, he actually did it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
you cannot plan this or imagine this. That's crazy.
Storybook ending.
Yeah. Your biggest supporter?
My father.
But best buddy on tour, I think I asked before, right?
What was that?
Your best buddy on tour?
Jesper, that's my boy.
Yeah. Your favorite sports beside bowling? Is it golf?
To play golf, to watch American football.
Okay. What would you do different if you could start your bowling career again?
I would start by throwing it much slower than I did at a young age. When I was young, I was throwing it 23 miles an hour, very hard and very straight. I would want to be like Simonson growing up, bowling in front of the ball return at 8 years old.
Okay. So that were the 10 questions. Thank you. So then we go to, I have 2 more questions here in the chat. What do you think about Daria?
Well, she's beautiful. You know, she has an amazing personality. I think she's great for the sport. And then, you know, on her bowling side, amazing power. You know, she can open up the lane with the men. She can hook it just as much as we can. You know, a great source of power and hard work. You know, she practices a lot. You know, graduate at Weber, working at Kegel a lot. And, you know, but I think all in all, a great person for the sport of bowling.
Yeah. And Thomas asks, the final question, what are the best advantages or disadvantages of two-hand bowling?
Well, one advantage would definitely be we don't have to use our thumb. My thumb looks beautiful all the time, never a scratch. But, you know, it's a little easier to create revolutions, create power. You know, I think at a young age, that's why you see a lot of kids bowling two-handed, because you can see progressions of being able to curve the ball a lot faster with two hands than maybe you could with one hand. Some of the disadvantages, I think, are two-handed bowling wears on your body a lot more, though. It beats you up in like your lower back area a lot more. I mean, I'm 28 years old. I've had sciatica issues, and I said I've hurt my back again, not from bowling, but I think one of the disadvantages would be it wears down on your body a little bit more than maybe some of the one-handed styles.
You would be a good guy for IT or a switch grip commercial.
Yeah, switch the thumb out. I always said I would take a tape break on TV, but I haven't done it yet.
That would be great. On both ends. A tape on the thumb.
Tape,
on both
please.
ends.
I need to tape my weight hole.
Yeah, or you put your tape on the thumb on both thumbs.
Yeah, there we go. Just boom.
If you do it, I'm thinking on on this interview. That was the idea. So actually, I think we're pretty much done. First of all, I really appreciate that you take the time to join us here in the show. And I want to tell the people, if you like the interview, leave a like. If you subscribe to our channel, you get notifications if you press the bell when we post a new video. Our next video or stream will be next Tuesday at 7 p.m. And Kyle, do you want to tell the people something?
Yes. Well, first off, I want to thank you for having me on the show. Really enjoy it. Especially during this time, it's nice to just be able to get out there, interact with the fans some, answer some questions they may have. And, I hope everyone stays safe. Obviously, hopefully PBA comes back out soon. And also check out the Team Fish merch, Team Fish Bowling. We're still swimming along, staying safe as well right now. But, thank you for having me on the show. Don't forget to hit the button down below. Subscribe to the channel. But, man, I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And, hopefully we can do this again in the future.
Yeah, if you have a link to your fish merch, just send it to me and I will put it in the description. And we will do. So, thank you again. And I say bye-bye to the people. See you Tuesday. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye.
Just a second.